Hey, what is up, you guys? I'm in the Grim here, and today we are doing a very special video. It's been 2 years since I last made the video where I ranked all 20 of my ghosters, and since then that number has grown significantly, well, like 15 cards, and I got some of my holy grails. So today I thought I'd give you guys an updated list of my top of ranking all my ghost rares in my entire collection. So for this, in order to make this work, first of all, I'm taking away the 3D thing, because you know what, some of the older ghost rares don't have the 3D thing, and it feels wrong to include, even though that's why I love Ghost Rares in the beginning, especially since a lot of these um, cards that don't have the 3D thing have become some of my personal favorite cards. Okay, as you'll see in this video, and so the main criterias are number one, um, nostalgia. How nostalgic is it for me to have this card? Like, is it part of was it part of the anime, and did a major character use it, and did I actually watch the anime? Because even if it's if the ghoster is from is an anime card, I might not have actually enjoyed the anime, or I wasn't particularly attached to that particular anime when the card was first seen. So there's that. And second of all, usability. Okay, so this means that did I ever use that card in one of my decks, or is it useful in any of my current decks? So those are two main criterias. I may factor in the 3D factor here and there, because if there were a tie, then I'll do. If there was a tie, then I would have done that. But those are two main criterias, and we all know who number one is. There's no there's no guessing who my number one ghost rare is in the entire collection. But as we built up to number one, let's take a look at all the other ghost rares and where they rank. So starting things off, we have in number 35, Bujinki Amaterasu. I'm gonna be quick here. I never use it in any of my decks, not even the rank 4 decks like Star Seraph or Constellar. It's just a cheap ghost rare that I purchased during the pandemic just to add to the collection. I mean, is it really that special? Why would the TCG in turn make this into the ghost rare? We could have gone ghost rare number 62, Galaxy Eyes Prime Photons, right? So that's why Ghost Rare Bujinki Amaterasu is at the very bottom of the list. Coming in at the number 34 spot, we have Ghost Rare Crystal Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. So, I do play this in my Synchron Center Dragon deck, but it's just a Crimson Dragon target, because if somehow your opponent runs over the shooting Quasar Dragon, which I kind of doubt that would happen, but let's say it somehow did, and it did happen once or twice, because of like the NIP tokens and all that, then you would banish the Synchro Overtop to summon the Crimson Dragon, while Shooting Quasar Dragon will leave out Shooting Star Dragon, which, by the way, spoiler alert, I don't have as a ghost rare yet. I bought so many ghost rares with I bought so many expensive ghost rares that I just needed to take a break from getting all these expensive ghost rares, especially since I need to go on vacation soon. But this one is really there so that the Crimson Dragon can can target Shooting Star Dragon and bring this guy out. This is pretty much like an Omni Negate with for the opponent's monsters. You know, it's just a buffed up Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. I also don't have that one as a ghost rare. It's not that special to me. It's useful in a very particular situation, but because this, I didn't want the Synchron Thunder Dragon deck to be a one-trick pony. I put this as a backup plan to a backup plan to a backup plan, and once in a while it'll come up and it will help me win matches. So that's why I just put it above Wujinki Amaterasu. I mean, hey, At least it's an anime inspired card. At the number 33 spot, we have Mobius the Mega Monarch. I put this one above Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon because didn't Shingo Sawatari use him in Arc 5? And if I want to build Monarchs, I could play this. It's just that with Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon, there wasn't. It's not an anime card. It's an anime inspired card, and this one at least appeared in the anime. So I did enjoy that duel where Shingo dueled Yuto, even though I think he got his ass kicked. So that's why I did want to put this above Crystal Clearing Single Dragon. Otherwise, I don't really have a attachment to Mobius the Mega Monarch. There are so many other Ghost Rares in my collection that I much prefer over this guy. Alright, coming in the number 32 spot, we have Ghost Rare Stellar Knight Deltaros. I, I played this in Star Seraph quite a bit, actually. This was like the boss monster of the Star Seraph deck. It's quite useful, especially when you combo it with Scepter's effect when it's Xyz summon with you for an Xyz monster using 3 or more materials. So it's pretty good. It has a very useful effect. Was it touch material, pop a card, and then tag one card, destroy it. I would play this in Tellarknights if I ever decide to make a Tellarknight deck, but they're saying that's special. But I did put this above Mobius also because this is one of the very first Ghost Rares that I ever purchased. I don't remember when. I got a Ghost Rare Deltaros back in high school. I got it from a friend. Then I sold it, and then when I made Star Seraph, I bought this guy for $8. I don't remember when I bought this, but I remember buying this specifically for $8 for the Star Seraph deck. So it was fun while it lasted. I'm sad that I had to go to the binder because I don't really play rank 4 decks anymore. But I loved playing this in that deck. So that's why it's going in number 32 spot. In the number 31 spot is a card that I would put higher if I didn't buy it in such a bad state, and it's Majestic Red Dragon. Okay, I bought this for $25 off someone. It's so damaged. I don't even think I can sell it to anyone at this point. I bought it as is, and I kept it in the sleeve. I just wanted another Ghost Rare to complete and to check off in the collection. I love Jack's duel. I love it when Jack uses this card in the anime. I think used it in his duel against the fake Jack Atlas. I don't remember where else he used it, but I remember specifically he used it in that duel. I know he used it in some other duels, but that's the one I most remember. That I actually remember Majestic Red's appearance from. Beautiful card, but because it's so damaged when I bought it, and because I was so cheap about it, I could only give it the number 31 spot. Cracking the number 30 spot, we have Ghost Rare Eye of Timaeus. So shout out to Jimmy. I actually own multiple copies of the Ghost Rare, but um, I bought this slab as a PSA 9 from a random card shop because I heard a lot of people just I hear so much about online grading, and I said if I want to get one graded card, I might as well get it as a Ghost Rare. I got this for $50 at a PSA 9. Um, but first of all, I don't really care about Timaeus. I mean, I I saw the dragon. I don't remember what it was. I think it was the Darts arc, the Legendary Knights arc, whatever, where Yugi actually got the Eye of Timaeus and then he used it to fuse his monsters using this card. And then we had like Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, Dark Magician Bill, Dragon Knight. Don't quote me on the names, but it was an okay card, and I bought this just to spite with Jimmy. But even then, Jimmy who plays Dark Magician doesn't even use his Eye of Timaeus anymore. He just uses Timaeus the United Dragon. I think that's the name of that card. And and I'm a 5Ds guy. Okay, that's why I have to rank him so low on the list. If I was more of a DM guy, I would definitely put this higher. And like I said, the only reason why I have this is because I just wanted to have a graded card to join in the card. I don't really care about graded cards. At the number 29 spot, we have Ghost Gold Rare, Herald of Perfection. This is my list, so I'm including the Ghost Gold Rares. If you don't want to include them on this list, then just remove them entirely and just bump up the ones who are below the Ghost Gold Rares. So even though it doesn't appear in the anime, I do have a slightly fond memory of this because when I first played Agents, my sister bought me a mini box of Gold Series Haunted Mine, and this was the Ghost Gold Rare that was included. So I grew really fond of this. I had a fondness for this card because it reminded me of my sister, even though I sold it years later. Last year, I went around November when I went to Trois Rivières. I found this copy at a store, and I said, "Yo, I gotta get this. It's cheap now. It's super cheap, and I gotta get this since it reminds me of my sister." And I played this in my agent deck. It didn't really work out. That's why I sold it, and because I was really collecting Ghost Rares at the time. But the sheer memory of having this and reminding me of my sister was quite enough to put at the number 29 spot. If I was playing Drytron, I would play this, but honestly, I hate that deck. I dueled against a kid at locals who was very emo, and who played that card. This card, the fact that this card isn't once per turn or hard once per turn, annoys the fuck out of me. Konami, please, they should have errated this, okay? They should have just made it an errata, given an errata to make it hard once per turn. Otherwise, because then I would have placed this a bit higher. But from what it stands, Herald of Perfection takes number 29 spot. Coming in at the number 28 spot, we have the Ghost Gold Rare MST. This has been power crept to death now. We have Cosmic Cyclone, we have Twin Twisters, we have Harpy Feather Duster, so I wouldn't even play. I don't play this in any of my decks. But it's classic MSD, very fun to have in the collection. Just for all the Yugi boomers out there, having a Ghost Rare MSD in the collection does feel very, very special. I would love to see MST come back one day. I know it sounds absurd, especially when we have so many better removals out there with Harpy's Fairy Duster being legal now, and being quite useful. Not annoying to the point where it's game breaker, but useful. So I would love to see one day MST coming back to the game so that I can play this in my deck. At the number 27 spot, we have Ghost Rare Chaos number 32 Shark Drake Vice. Oh man, I remember when I was a kid and I was watching Zexal, Shrek summon this card, and I was pretty shocked by it. I mean, it's not good by any means. It was released in the same set as Cowboy, so it was already power crept by right at its release. But this is still a very nostalgic card for me. The way Shark summoned it, I think he uses hatred or something to to generate this card. And I don't remember. I haven't seen Zexal in a while. Even I haven't seen Shark's duels in a while. I did rewatch Zexal, but I was only watching the Kite duels because I made a new deck. Spoiler alert. But it's a very beautiful card. The monsters in the Eye of the Storm. That's it. Like the storm's pretty detailed, and I still when I look at this card, it brings me back to when I was a little kid and watching those duels and just being amazed at seeing these crappy boss monsters look good. You know, so that's why I have to put Chaos number 32 Shark Drake Vice at the number 27 spot. At the number 26 spot, we have number 92 Heart Earth Dragon. Oh my god, I remember when this card was very hard to pick up. not just the Ghost Rare, but the Ultra Rare print from Cosmic Blazar was pretty hard to get because it only had one printing until last year's Battles of Legend Monstrous Revenge. And I had to pay, I don't know how much I paid. I think maybe $40 for the Ultra Rare. That's how desperate I was to complete the number binder. And I wasn't even supposed to own this card, okay? First of all, a couple of years ago, I think almost 10 years ago, I made a deal with someone to get this card, but then the card got lost in the mail, and I never bothered picking it up afterwards from another vendor. But it wasn't until 2 weeks ago when I went to Ottawa to pick up a different card, a different Ghost Rare. You'll know soon. Where afterwards we went to this mall and they had a shop there. That's a growing business, by the way, not sponsored, but it's a shop called Boutique Imaginaire, and they're growing exponentially. They have lots of old TCG products. Store's fantastic. And I traded a bunch of cards for store credit, and I got this one. This one cost me like $27 in store credit. I bought LP because there was a slight dot on it. I don't think you can really see it, but it's there. So I got this card, and for them for $27, whatever. And this is the final Ghost Rare number that I needed to complete the collection. So mission accomplished. And just like with Shark Drake Vice, I did watch the duel where it was Yuma, Shark, and Kaito versus Dr. Faker, and he brought this guy out, and pretty it was pretty amazing to see. Love his effect, it's pretty much like a U-Bell effect. So shout out to the U-Bell players. I don't know what I'm rambling about. It's it's a card. It's a beautiful Ghost Rare. I've had fond memories of it, and I honestly wish the card appeared more than that duel against Dr. Faker, and then number 96 just stole it to make number C92. Because honestly, number C92 sucks. This is the better version of number 92. Love the show. Love that it finally allows me to complete the Ghost Rare number collection, even though I wasn't in a rush to complete that collection because I could obtain those numbers very easily. I could obtain this easily. This was the only one that was missing 2 weeks ago. So, but so number 92 takes the number 26 spot. Sorry for rambling for so long. Cracking the top 25, we have Ghost Rare Odin, father of the Aesir. So my opinion has changed over the year since that last video with Odin because I do a lot of 5Ds rewatches and I love that epic duel where Haldor just brought this bad boy out against uh Yusei. Against Yusei. Wait, did he only bring it out against Yusei? I think he did because I think Broder tied with Crow and Broder had Loki and Thor. But Thor was Dragon's monster, which he lost when which he lost against Jack, and then Broder, but he was able to bring back Thor for Broder to keep. So Odin is Haldor's card. Yeah, Haldor used this card against Yusei, and the matches were pretty epic actually. The clash between the Crimson Dragons and and the three Nordic gods. I love the effect, and I don't play this card in my deck. Okay, I don't because I don't play Aesir, but Jimmy does, because I sold him an Aesir deck for $5, and sometimes I would lend him this Ghost Rare just so he can have a feel of where of having a Ghost Rare in his hands. He doesn't own a Ghost Rare, and because of the duel, because I love 5Ds and I love the duel where it was Yusei versus Haldor. I had to bump this card to the number 25 spot compared to the other cards, because obviously since I have so many other Ghost Rares now, it was gonna fall down the position, but it did get a bump when Amaterasu and Deltaros actually went down the list. It went down in position, so that's why. So Odin it is the number 25 in my Ghost Rare ranking. At the number 24 spot, we have Heroic Champion Excalibur. Um, I love this card because I love that Yuma received this card from Nistro, for as a victory prize for winning their duel. And for me, I see this card as Yuma's second ace. I know he likes to spam Utopia a lot, but I love it when Yuma instead summons this card because it's a token. It's a reminder of his friendship with Nistro and that he has other non-number cards to use when he can't when he's in a pinch. Um, just like how I have some cards that remind me of that are bond between my friends and between me and my friends. This card really represents Yuma's bond between him and his minor rival Nistro. I love Jason Griffith's performance as Nistro, and it was very heartwarming to see Nistro as literally giving his ace monster to Yuma. And whenever Yuma summons this card, I just squeal because it's exciting to see when he summons a rank 4. That's not Utopia. But I don't use this in anime decks. I would have used this in Hero back in the day, but honestly, Heroes has evolved so much towards just a hybrid mismatch, mix them up of all these hero archetypes that nobody really plays Xyz. They play Fusion and Lynx now, so. But I still love this card. I love it whenever Yuma summons in the anime. That's why he takes number 24 spot. At the number 23 spot, we have the classic, Cyber Dragon. This was the. When was Ghost Ring Pass? Second Ghost Rare that I pulled. The first one I pulled was Firewall Dragon, and this was the second one that I ever pulled. Um, Technically, this is not the second. There's also the second Ghost Rare where I kind of cheated because, admittedly, I scaled a bunch of mini boxes using my mother's scale so I can get a Ghost Rare. And turns out it was Cyber Dragon. You know, Cyber Dragon's a classic card. Ryoma or Fuji or Zane Truesdell uses 3 copies of this guy in his deck. And I actually considered making Cyber Dragons at one point, but the idea didn't go through. But still love this card. I fondly remember pulling this card from those many boxes. It seems like it was just yesterday. I literally freaked out. I said, "Oh my god, Ghost Rare Cyber Dragon!" Another Ghost Rare. It's that feeling you get when you pull a card from one of your favorite high-end rarities. So that's why Ghost Rare Cyber Dragon takes the number 23 spot. At the number 22 spot, we have Ghost Rare number 17, Leviathan Dragon. Classic card, literally the first number that was ever summoned in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal anime. I would put this higher, but I kind of regret purchasing this particular card because, first of all, as you can tell, I'm a cheap guy. I purchased the cheapest Ghost Rare I can find, so I don't really break the bank. And this was during a time where I wouldn't spend like hundreds of dollars on a Ghost Rare. I still don't. I just made an exception for some of them that are up the list. And the reason why I regret purchasing this one, despite being one of the most classic number cards next to Utopia, is because this one has the entire card scratched. I don't know if you can see it, but like the surface here has been scratched. And number 17 is such a beautiful card. I wish I waited, and I wish I could have gotten a better copy of this card where the card image wasn't scratched, so I can see how beautiful it actually is. But even Majestic Red Dragon doesn't have that many scratches on this card, you know. But At the end of the day, it's a very classic number monster that I loved that I saw for the first time when watching Zexal, and I'm not a Zexal fan. Okay, I don't like Yuma. Okay, I'm not a Zexal fan. I'm not a Zexal hater, but I'm a Yuma hater, but I'm not a Zexal hater per se. It's just that this card would have been higher on the list uh, if it wasn't for all these scratches on the card. If I can get myself a better copy of this card with like better with less scratches, where I can see the card better, I would bump this higher and I would sell this copy immediately. So from what it stands, the number 17 Leviathan Dragon takes the number 22 spot. And just barely missing out on the top 20 is a card that I still consider to be one of my most underrated ghost rares, and it's the ghost rare Junk Berserker. It's uh, it's underappreciated because I don't know, there's just something about this card that I love. I think it's the artwork. I think I've never seen Yusei summon this ever, but I can first of all I can make this in Synchron Sonic Dragons because I played Jump Synchron. It's and I'm only breaking my criteria here because I feel like this card, like the Ghoster specifically, is just underappreciated for how it looks. Plus, it's first ed. I don't really have a lot of first ed Ghosters because of how expensive they are, and this is one of them. This was one of the three Ghost rares that I purchased during the pandemic when I got Ghost. It was Odin and Bujinki Amaterasu. So yeah, this card Odin and Bujinki Amaterasu. And every time I look at this card, I just appreciate its value quite a bit. It's not worth that much, but there's one of the few cards that I would love to see get PSA graded for my collection. I don't know why, but it's just it. So for these random reasons, I decided to put in Junk Berserker at the number 21st spot. At the number 20 spot, we have Clearwing Synchro Dragon. Um, so first of all, he's YouTube's ace monster in Arc 5. And when I was in high school, when this card was first announced for Cross Souls, I was like, dude, I want this card. For Black Wings, it's a simple level 7 dragon monster and has a really good effect. I desperately wanted this. I never picked it up because I was stupid. I was stupid and broke at the time. And then last year when I got Christmas bonus from the government, um, I picked this up. It's yeah, this is first. I think this is even no. This is I think this is the lightly played version. But I could use this in one of my decks. I mean, Single on Sire Dragon, the best example. I can use this in that deck for some free negates, but I just didn't use it because I have I wanted to play I have more options to use, and I love seeing Yuto summon this card in the anime. Crystalline Synchro Dragon, and how it's like it embodies Yugo's it's Yugo's spirit in the anime. I don't play Speedroids, but this was a great boss monster to complement the Speedroid archetype, and I love how its counterparts have great synergy with the archetype. This is Win too. I think most Speedroid monsters are Win attribute. I would love to place this higher on the list, but unfortunately, I have better I have better options. And Arc, while I did enjoy Arc 5, it's not my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh anime series. I think it's maybe number 2 for the nostalgia, just because it brought back all those legacy characters. But that's why I'm putting Clearwing Synchro Dragon at the number 20 spot. At the number 19 spot, we have a card that I just literally very recently retired from playing, and that's Ghost Rare Divine Dragon Knight Felgrag. Obviously, it's not an anime card. This no one ever summoned. I don't think no one ever summoned this card in the anime. But the reason why I place it so high is because I used to play like agents. I played a lot of agents, and this was one of my go-to cards when for rank 8s in that deck. And I only recently retired this card because yes, I can make it in my Galaxy Eyes deck, but that deck really focuses on Galaxy, Photon, and numbered cards, and there just wasn't any room for to include this card in the extra deck anymore. So while it's sad to see this guy retire, um, I did enjoy my time using him. So thank you, Divine Dragon Knight Felgrind, for all the great memories. Um, you've earned your retirement, buddy. That's why you're at number 19. You're at the top 20, man. At the number 18 spot, we have Ghost Rare Dragonite Draco Equeast. So you say summons a fusion monster. I saw the episode when I first saw it as a kid. I was pretty shocked. I wasn't too familiar with 5Ds, but this was one of those random out of the blue monsters that Yusei just summoned, and then he never used it again. The series is so focused on getting Shooting Star Dragon out. You know what? I'm gonna show the card. That it complete for so that Yusei completely ignored this card and Turbo War. These were the two cards um that would have been the solution to combat the threat of the Mechlord Emperors, and Yusei never used them. Instead, they focused on Shooting Star Dragon. It sucks to see such a good card go to waste. And I do have a personal attachment to this card because I think 2 years ago, for my birthday, my friend Yoan, who I'll talk more about later, couldn't make it to my birthday party. So instead, he sent me some money, um, and I bought this card with that money he sent me. So as a way, this card is also a reminder of me and Yoan. And but there's a strong. The number one spot is the one card that proves that's like me that represents me and Yoan. So, but this is like another piece of Yuan that I keep with me since I bought this card with the money he gave me. So thanks, Yuan. Shout out to you. Love this card. This was actually my first 5Ds Ghost Rare, since this was like the cheapest one that I could get my hands on at the time, and with the money I had. And so thanks, pal. I really appreciate I really appreciate you indirectly getting me this beautiful card. And I just really wish you say some of this more in the anime. And I think, can't you use this now? I think this card has gone up in price a bit because I think it's because it's a super poly target. I might be wrong. I know it was useful for a bit because I saw a lot of people asking to play this card. I don't remember what format, but a lot of people did. So for that reason, Dragonite Draco Equeast takes the number 18 spot. Cracking the number 17 spot, we have Ghost Rare Winged Dragon of Ra. So the way I got this card was actually pretty tragic. Well, not that tragic, but still, it's pretty sad. So time for Hogan the Grim. So time for story time with Hogan the Grim. Last year, I was planning on getting a collector's rare Stardust Dragon, unlimited, from this guy. Unfortunately, he scammed me. He scammed me out of $90 Canadian. I never got the card. He sent me an empty envelope, and I was pretty mad. I complained about it, and then the Yu-Gi-Oh community rallied together, and they recommended me to this guy, this wonderful seller, and he agreed to sell me this card for 60% of the actual price. So I got this for $60 or something, and so I'm always thankful for that seller for what he did to help me compensate for the money lost. And this is one of those cards I never thought I would get because at the time I wasn't planning on buying cards like $100 or something. And the fact that at that time I got this for within my personal budget as a kind gesture really means a lot to me. So I want to thank that seller. And it's Wing Dragon of Ra, one of the most iconic cards in the entire Yu-Gi-Oh franchise, and that's really why he's number 16, number 17 on the list. At the number 16 spot, we have Majestic Star Dragon. So obviously, this is a 5Ds card. 5Ds number one, Yu-Gi-Oh show, and personally, this is one of my favorite. This was like the first Stardust Dragon related Ghost Rare that I ever got my hands on. It's and I've had great memories of Yusei summoning this card in his duel against Rex Godwin, in his duel against the Ghost, in his duel against Haldor, even though that card didn't this card didn't win him the match. I had a lot of fun riding with Yusei and this card. And as much as I want to use it, it's not good. I'm never going to use this card, but it's the nostalgia factor that really bumps this card up for me. Especially when you're a 5Ds card, um, it's gonna go up, okay? Since 5Ds has a very special place in my heart, and this is related to my favorite archetype, the Sign of Dragons. So I had to put this card at number 16. I would have put this higher if it was more useful, or if I ever played it. But from what it stands, it's a great card to have in my collection. It's beautiful as a Ghost Rare, even Ghost Rare Unlimited. I even have the Stars Overdrive pack. I have one sealed in my collect and somewhere around my desk. So yeah, Ghost Rare Majestic Star Dragon takes number 16 spot. And the number 15 spot we have Ghost Rare Solemn Judgment. This card's been power crept. I don't think anyone really plays it, but it's still an Omni Negate, and you can tech this in whenever you want. I might actually play this in one of my decks. It's just a little slow now. But with essentially with how Yu-Gi-Oh is with how fast-paced Yu-Gi-Oh is, I have ADHD. That's why I prefer the fast-paced Yu-Gi-Oh games where I can OTK my opponent. It's and and I've said this before, but when I first bought this card, it was at like $10 Canadian, and somehow face-to-face games managed to screw that up for me and sent me a comment. They let me keep the comment, but they immediately resent this card. So that's a funny story that happened with this card, and this card's gone up in price. I don't really care about the card going up in price. I just care that I've used this card many times in the Blackwing deck. That I stopped playing because honestly, I didn't really like the new way people were playing Blackwing, so that's why I got rid of the deck. I sold it to my best friend, and he never used it. He just bought it. So when um, he just bought it out of a kind gesture. So thanks, thanks, bestie. And but I still really love this card. It's so generic that I might even play it in one of my decks if I had room for it. At the number 14 spot, we have Ghost Rare Neo Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. So this is a card. This is my most recent Ghost Rare. Some guy sold it to me as part of a package because I need some other Galaxy cards. I don't play this in Galaxy Eyes because its effects is not that useful anymore. Now that most people play Link monsters in their main deck, Xyz monsters will pop up in a lot of Xyz focused decks, but it's not a card I would actively play in my Galaxy Eyes deck because it's a bit too situational. However, because who plays? What's the most commonly played Xyz monster at this time? Isn't it Babushka? So if this card drops, it's useless against Babushka. Like even the Xyz killer is useless against that particular Xyz. And but if I felt like it, I could always put this in the Galaxy Eyes deck if the situation calls for. If it's not like an official match, or if right before the local tourney, if I know some of my opponents are playing Xyz focus decks, I might just swap this in and take out one of my other Galaxy Eyes or extra deck monsters in favor of this. So I I think this is a beautiful card, especially the way it's layered in 3D. Um, for some reason, I never owned this card as a kid. Neo Galaxy Ice Photon Dragon in general. I think I had an ultra printing of this card at one point, but I got rid of it somehow. And I've always loved how cool this monster looking with the pink and the armor, the three heads, and I love seeing Kite summon this, especially as I I love seeing Kite summon this in the anime. Um, that was like his ultimate boss monster in Zexal. If Galaxy Ice Photon Dragon wasn't working out, so that's why I have to include this card at the number 14 spot. Coming at the number 13 spot, it pains me to put this card at number 13, but I do have like other better options to put higher above this card. But it's Ghoster Reto Demon's Dragon! Obviously, it's a Scion Dragon. I'm very fond of that. However, and this card finally got a Ghoster printing in Ghost from the Past Second Haunting. So, thanks, man. Thanks, Konami. It's just that this card has been power crept by his other counterparts. That even with the release of the Crimson King structure deck, if I just don't really see why I would ever play this card over some of his other evolutions. We know, like you all know who I'm talking about, and so it's very hard for me to put this at number 13. But I never used this card in any of my decks. I might have used them when I was a kid, but now I don't really use it anymore. Even in the single Siren Dragon deck, that card has taken over as even taken over its name. So I can't really justify putting this card higher than number 13. And it really, and trust me, it does pay me to put this at number 13. I wish I could put it higher, but I have better memories of other cards. Coming in at the number 12 spot, we have Ghost Rare Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. Yes, this card is crease, okay? I bought it from the same seller who sold me the Winged Dragon Raw. He told me it had a crease on it, so I could get this card for dirt cheap, and I am using this in my Galaxy Eyes deck. That's I just needed a Ghost Rare Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. The cheaper the better. It turns out this was the cheapest one I can get my hands on. Don't I have other hobbies, just look at that. Look at all that. That's why I always opt for the cheaper option. Plus I have a niece now. So you can say what you will, but this is my personal decision. Um, and even I didn't want to put this above Red Dragon Archmage, but as it stands, this is obviously a very key piece to the Photon deck that I'm making. And even though I love Red Dragon Archmage more than Galaxy Ice Photon Dragon, it's not a card that I would say is more useful than this card. That's and its effect is not that good anymore. Just steal an opponent's XYZ monsters, XYZ materials when if it attacks and banishes with its own effect. Not really good, but you know, Kites loved using this card, and Fun fact about Kite, I think he's the only main rival who's never outright lost to the main protagonist. So that just shows how badass of a rival Kite is. Um, when compared to the likes of Chaz, Kaiba, not Jack. I love Jack. Jack's my boy. And I, as much as I love, and that's why I have to put number 12 because of how useful this guy is in my current predicament with that deck. And it's the main rival. It's the ace monster that shows of of the main rival of Zexal. I have to put it at number 12. I really got to stop rambling. Yes, it's just too painful for me to put Red Giant Archfiend below this card. I love this card. Okay, I love this card, and it's very useful in my current deck. And this card doesn't really see much power prep in comparison to Red Dragon Archfiend because this card is a main deck monster, whereas Cypher Dragon is an extra deck monster. Galaxy Eye Cypher Dragon is an extra deck monster. So you can make the argument that there's still some usefulness to this guy compared to Red Dragon Archfiend, who's been overshadowed by its newer counterparts, who are also in the extra deck. So while you have the option to make other Red Dragon Archfiend counterparts from the extra deck, when it comes to the main deck, this card's the only other retrain I see of this card is Afterglow Dragon, and people only play one Afterglow, so I still think this is the superior version, and it hasn't been that power grab compared to Red Dragon Archfiend. At the number 11 spot, we have Ghost Rare number 101 Silent Honor Arc. Um, so I do have, and so I have two very good fond memories of this card. So back when I was in first one, back when I was in high school, this card was not expensive. I think it was like $40 card because this was one of the best boss monsters to make. Generic rank 4, very easy to summon. So and it's a non-destruction removal card. And I wanted a copy for myself. I just didn't have the money for it, and I wasn't that into Yu-Gi-Oh. But I still wanted a copy for the deck. So then when they announced Premium Gold Return of the Bling, and this card was getting a reprint in that, I I decided to get myself a mini box of that to try to pull it. I was I went to face-to-face games the first time, met up with a friend there, and I cracked open about one mini box of Premium Gold Return of the Bling. This was literally the last card in the very first pack. Well, the gold rare version, okay? The gold rare, I still have that. And it was shortly after my birthday, so when I pulled that card, I was pretty happy about it. Since as a kid, as a kid, you want to pull when you get the card you really want. There's it's just there's that feeling, and when I for me that card represents a annual birthday pull that my late grandparents are allowing me are giving me so I can get my most wanted card of the year, I guess. It happened every year. Last year it was Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon and another. It was Excel Synchro Stardust Dragon, and then what was it? And then I think 2020 it was the Phantom Knights of Torn Scales. I don't remember what the other ones were. I know they helped me get the card my most wanted card of the year. They helped me get like beautiful broken poles. So this card really sets up the my the way I pull my beautiful cards. I don't really pull a lot of good cards because that's how bad my pack look is. But every year, I do get some help in getting the exact card I need. And then the second memory is how I actually got this card. I bought a box of Legendary Duels from the Deep, because I wanted to. I just wanted to get that box, and in and that and in that box is where I pulled this card. I was freaking out at the time because this is the first Ghost Rare that I pulled where I didn't cheat using my mother's skill. I was pretty happy about it, and I think that was the pull of 2022. I don't really remember, but no wait, Cyber Dragon was the pull of 2022. 2021, the pull of 2021 was Firewall Dragon. Yeah, spoiler alert again, but this was the pull of 2022, and it made me really happy because I got a Ghost Rare without cheating. This feels like my first legitimate win in Ghost Rare pulls, and I couldn't be more happy because even though no one really plays this card anymore, it's still a very classic card that while it's been power crept, it's a card I look very fondly on. I still played this when I was playing Baron Crystal Beast before I got rid of the deck. This was the Ace card. I didn't use this one. I used the gold version to honor my late grandparents for helping me pull that card. For those reasons, I had to give the number 11 spot to number 101 Silent Honor Arc. So, starting off the top 10 list, we have Ghost Rare Black Winged Dragon. Now, this is the final piece of, as you saw when I posted, this is the final piece of the Sign Dragons that I needed to complete the Ghost Rare Sign Dragon collection. And I would have gotten this earlier, but I made so much money out of from one of my jobs that I decided to skip and get the more expensive uh, Ghost Rare Black Rose for and save this guy for later. I got this for 140 Canadian. Same shop where I got Black Rose. This one I got for 140 at Ottawa. Now there's a store in Montreal that sells this very same card, unlimited near mint for 250. Wasn't happy about that, so I made the trip to Ottawa just so I can get this specific version of the card. I'm very happy to have this card in my collection. I used to think the world of it when I was playing Black Wings, but honestly, it's not a good card anymore. It's not a good card. I think most people usually just play this for the as material for Blackwing the Salt Dragon, and I can totally see that. And while I love Crow, I like Crow, but I feel that he stole the spotlight from other characters. So that's part of the reason why I didn't want to include him higher on the list. Um, and he's a material for shooting Quasar Dragon, and compared to the other Sign Dragons out there, he's actually my least favorite of Sign Dragon. That's why he only makes it to the top 10. If it wasn't for the fact that he's a Sign Dragon, and I actually use him in one of my decks, I don't think I would have put him. I think I would have put him lower on the list. So for those reasons, Blackwing Dragon takes the number 10 spot. Coming in at the number 9 spot, we have Chaos number 39, Utopia Ray. And as a kid, I really wanted this card, but as a kid, couldn't really afford singles, and so I really passed up on it. I actually had to wait until Starter Deck V for Victory came out before I actually picked up the Ultra printing from that deck. And this was when I first started collecting Ghost Rares. This was one of the Ghost Rares that I first truly added to my collection. And Yuma and I'm not a fan of Yuma, but I was a kid. I was pretty amazed at seeing Yuma summon him in the show. But more importantly, the reason why he's so high on the list is because I got this signed by Astro's voice actor Mark Thompson, and he wrote "High Five the Sky" on it. So thank you, Mr. Thompson, again. I really appreciate you signing this card for me. This means this means the world. Um, to have one a card that I really desired as a kid signed by one of its users' most prominent voice actors. That's why I put it above Blackwing Dragon. It was what it's the autograph. And I love Mark Thompson as a voice actor. He voiced Dante Vale, so yeah. Coming in at the number 8 spot, we have Ghost Rare Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. This is gonna come as a shock, because you saw this in PK Fire. Unfortunately, I got rid of the deck. And, the deck's been power crept, and as much as I didn't want to get rid of it, I had a new niece coming, and I didn't know what to do. I had to get rid of it. Um, I just couldn't deal with this. I just didn't know what to tell my niece. I didn't want my niece to see me as the guy with 4 different Yu-Gi-Oh decks. I gotta be 5. I had 5 at the time. I had to be a more mature person in the eyes of my niece. That's why I got rid of the 2 decks I didn't um that I felt were not disposable, but like not as good anymore. It's a great card that I love. Dark Rebellion, Xyz Dragon. I love it whenever you just summon it in the anime. Great effect, has the attack of all monsters of a monster, and it gains the attack. Pretty useful effect at the time of its release. And when I bought this card, even though this card is cheaper now, when I first bought this card, it was during Boxing Day, 2021. It was 2021. I also got some packs. It was like 5, no, 2 Brothers of Legend, and then a bunch of Synchro Storm. Because I was hoping to pull a Barone the floor. I didn't get the Barone, but in that very last pack of Brothers of Legend, I pulled Magician's Souls, and Jimmy, who wasted all that money on Legendary Duelist Magical Hero, um, like a box and a half, could never pull it, and I just magically pull that card out of like last pack magic. So if it wasn't for my motivation to rarely bump Dark Rebellion to a Ghost Rare, I never would have gotten that Magician's Souls. And I've I've worked with this card for a while now, and as and while I do want to keep playing him, there's just no place in any of my decks to play him, and I think he's pretty good too. So Dark Rebellion, thank you for the memories. Thank you for being a key member of the PK Fire deck. I just really hope I can play you in a different deck in the near future. Coming in the number 7 spot, we have Ghost Rare Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. This is the I pulled this last year because when from Soul Burning Volcano, and I didn't even think about pulling this card when I went to face games. I traded a bunch of stuff for store credit, and I bought one of the tins there, and then with the remaining store credit, I bought like 5, 6 packs of Soul Burning Volcano because I didn't think I was with my luck. I didn't think I was able to get this card. I was just hoping maybe I could pull Salamangreat of Fire, but I didn't. Instead, I ended up pulling this card, which is much better because I it's ghost it's a ghost it's a beautiful ghost rare that I definitely needed for the deck and the collection. So nice rarity bump there, and I think it was Konami's way of rewarding me for for being undefeated at that week's locals without Salamangreat of Fire. Um, and I was pretty shocked when I pulled this too. My mother was there, and she thought I was going crazy. It's really great that I was able to pull this beautiful ghost rare not only for the deck but for the collection, and how useful it has been for the deck itself. That's why it takes the number 7 spot. In the number 6 spot, and the award for the card that has gotten the biggest jump from last video's list, I have to give it to Ghost Rare Firewall Dragon. Now, this is very surprising to those who saw my last video, because this card was like at the very, I think this was at the bottom of my list when I first made it, but I teched this in Salamangreat, and I brought this to locals, where actually this card came in very useful. In one of my I came in second place that next week after pulling the Summon Wolf, because I lost to a kid with Drytron. But during my duel, in my duel with the Jack Atlas matchup, um, round one, I think I Babushka him first turn. He made his plays, and then no, I don't remember what it was, but I think whatever. In the end, I made Axis Code Talker co-linked with his brother in arms Firewall Dragon, and then I pretty much board wiped him. So he had like one card left, and going to like the next turn, he tried to make his combo as much as he could with that one card, and thanks to the well-timed bounce of Firewall Dragon, co-linked with Axis Code Talker, I bounced his tuner. I bounced one of his Resonator tuners to his hand, as right before he was about to make a Synchro Summon. So he ended up scooping the game, and that was one of my favorite memories. That was my favorite memory of using Firewall Dragon. Even with its errata, I found ways to use this card to its best potential. Thanks a lot, Firewall Dragon, and plus he was the very first Ghost Rare I ever pulled. I even made a video about that, where I pulled it. So surprisingly, Firewall Dragon takes the number 6 spot. At the top 5 spot, we have Ghost Rare number 107, Galaxy Ice Tachyon Dragon. This is probably the one of the oldest Ghost Rares I currently own in my entire collection. When I mean oldest Ghost Rare, I mean Ghost Rares, one of the oldest Ghost Rares that I've had in my possession. When I so little story, when I I had a when the Hero Strike structure deck first came out, I was still into agents. Agents kept popping up back in the day. And I wanted it to play a rank 8 for the deck. For some reason, I thought, yo, I'm gonna go with number 107 Galaxy Ice Tachyon Dragon. So after picking up the structure deck, I also picked up this this specific copy for $6. And then a couple of weeks later, Premium Gold Return of the Bling announced that they were releasing number 95 Galaxy Ice Dark Matter Dragon into the fold. So this card went up in price. And even though this has gone down since and has had many reprints, I still look fondly when I still reminisce about how this card actually skyrocketed in price when I was a teenager. Just for one card, and then one of my friends kept pestering me to sell me this specific card. I said no. I said no because I wanted to keep it. I thought there's no way I could get rid of a card. For some reason, I just said there's no way I'm getting rid of this card, and then it's led to me to eventually get a playset of number 107 Galaxy Ice Tachyon Dragons, all first ed, all from LTGY. I got the Ghost Rare next. It cost me $15 at the time. Yeah, it was not cheap. And then I got the Alti for like 20-ish. That was years later. So even though I initially skipped past this for 15 because I didn't want to pay more than $10 for a card, I eventually just caved in, picked this guy up for dirt cheap 15. It was one of the best decisions I ever made. And now I have a beautiful playset of Ghost Rare number 107 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon for the number binder. And this serves um as a reminder that that was one of my most expensive cards, but it's still my one of my favorite cards because of how it reminds me of like cards suddenly rising up in prices, something like that. And I'm never getting rid of this card. I'm actually get this card graded from PSA or something unless I ever decide to get I'm but I might not just so I can have the entire playset in the binder unless I decide to get these two graded to go to complement this. That's why so yeah, number 107 is make the top 5 on my Ghost Rare ranking. At the number 4 spot we have Ghost Rare Intento Ferry Dragon. This is the first I think this was the first Signer Dragon, not counting number 1, um that I actually purchased. And I bought this because I had like a massive bonus from the government. So I found this copy on TCG Player for heavily played. Didn't really care, just wanted a Ghost Rare Sign Dragon for the collection, and this has remained by my side for a while now. And because it's Sign Dragon, this had to go in the this had to be high on the list, especially since unlike Blackwing Dragon, I still find its effect, even with the errata, to be quite useful. I loved seeing what's one of his Japanese? I think it was Ruka. I'm always confused between who's Rua and who's Ruka. I know Leo is the guy who used Power Tool Dragon and Lightstream Dragon. By the way, we were so robbed of a Ghost Rare Lightstream Dragon. And Luna is the Ancient Fairy Dragon user. And because Luna didn't duel as many times as her brother, and because all characters were overshadowed by Yusei, Jack, and Crow, I find Ancient Fairy Dragon to be very underrated in the show, and I know people use its effects, but I didn't really care. I didn't use the effect. I use it for my epic synchro summon, and I just love seeing this card. It's a beautiful. It's beautiful as a ghost rare, because it's one of the first few ghost rares that actually have the 3 effect where the monster detaches. And while that doesn't factor into how much I love this card, um, there's this is Ancient Fairy Dragon still is number 4 because of the 5D nostalgia and the 5D's power. Coming in at the number 3 spot, taking the bronze medal is Ghost Rare Black Rose Dragon. Man, ever since I picked up card number 2, I decided to pick up the other Ghost Rare Cider Dragons. Uh, I wasn't supposed to pick this up. Like I said with Black Wing Dragon, I was supposed to get Black Wing Dragon first, and then later on pick up this card. But then, some extra money came in, and so I said, why not? Why not pick this one first and then get Black Wing Dragon later? Since I prefer Black Rose Dragon and Akiza over Crow, even though I played Black Wings. I tried making a Rose Dragon deck like 2 years ago. Didn't really work out, but that doesn't affect how much I love Ghost Rare Black Rose Dragon. Board wipe, beautiful card. Akiza easily the best female lead in all of Yu-Gi-Oh. Forget Taya, forget Asuka, forget Kotori. Especially don't just forget about Kotori. Forget Yuzu, forget Aoi. Akiza was easily my favorite female lead in Yu-Gi-Oh, and she has such a great and powerful card. And this card is actually near mint too, so that's a bonus. And in the future, if I ever get rid of the Synchron Siren Dragon deck, should any of the cards, from what I heard, Mini Crimson Dragon, get banned, then I will definitely get this card graded because It's a it's such a beauty, and mm, and I played this card in Black Wings when I first made because my friend told me like, oh, you ever heard of Black Rose Dragon? You have to get the card because Black Rose Dragon is a massive field nuke. It so I had to put this high up on the list. So yeah, Black Rose Dragon takes the bronze medal, coming in taking home the silver medal is the one card. This was my pipe dream. This is my holy grail. Okay, this is a card I really wanted, but I never thought I would end up getting or I would end up buying, and that's Ghost Rare Stardust Strike. This one's damaged because it was the cheapest copy you can find because Ghost Rare Stardust are massive expensive, even for the unlimited version. And Stardust Dragon is my favorite Silent Dragon of all time. Usually is my favorite anime protagonist, and Stardust Dragon. It's Stardust Dragon is my dark magician, and I do have a Stardust fetish. Just give me a second. Yep, Ogre the Grim has a problem because look at all of these Stardust. And for the longest time, for some reason, I could never pull the a Stardust that was higher than Secret Rare. I was unable to pull the ulti or not the ulti, the Starlight or the Collector's Rare, and even that, but that didn't detract me for how much I love Stardust Dragon. My best friend introduced me to Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, and he was the one who told me about Stardust, and I agree with him. Stardust Dragon is such a cool boss monster for Yusei to have. It's a classic. I love this artwork, even though it's damaged. This was the card that I most wanted to get for my collection, just because of how expensive it was, and I thought it was impossible. But down the road, I realized, look, even though I have a niece, and at first I even passed up on this card, even though I had the money for it. It's because I couldn't justify telling my niece why I would spend so much money on a trading card. Besides, I wanted it. Now I do. I'm. I would tell her, and I will tell her in the future. Look, I spent that much money on this card. I spent like 155 because I trade a lot of cards for store credit to lower it to 155. So I spent that much money on this card in Black Rose and Black Wind Dragon as well because I would rather use my hard-earned money to get a collector's card that I actually want, rather than use that money to buy booster packs and for the potential to get a money card that would later just end up selling. And yeah, I just Stardust Dragon, and that's why I finally caved in and got my Holy Grail Stardust Ghost Rare Stardust Dragon for the collection. So yeah, Stardust Dragon takes the silver medal. Coming in at the number one spot to absolutely nobody's surprise is the Ghost Rare Reto Demon's Dragon Scarito. Boom! We all know how much I love this card. First of all, this is a proper retrain. This is a proper Arc 5 retrain of a main rival's boss monster from 5Ds. Not only that, but it has a really good effect. This is still my favorite card to this day. Not even if it wasn't a Ghost Rare, Scarlet Regiment Archfiend would be my absolute favorite card of all time. Used to be Absolute Zero, but this card stole its spot. Great nuking effect. Again, it's a proper retrain of an ace boss monster. And like you all know, I had this card signed by the voice of Aster Phoenix, along with Yoan's Destiny or Dystopia. So it also serves as a reminder of my friendship with Yoan. We lost contact like last year, but he's still a really good friend of mine. And this along with Dystopia, it truly represents our friendship, because Dystopia, just like because like Yoan, just like Jack, Aster got an alternate counterpart in Arc 5, and he also got a new ace monster. So this was like the way to bridge um, our two characters and our decks together. Um, and even when I was playing this in Black Moons, this was my boss monster in Black Moons with Full Armor Master. Um, I always made a grand spectacle about this because this was truly my ace, my burning soul, and I would be damned if I didn't have this card, if I didn't keep this card with me. And when I die, we all die. Um, Yoan will have the first choice. Yoan is the first person whom may receive this card because just to have just to reunite those two cards. If Yoan refuses the card, then it goes to my best friend. And I did get a secret copy from like the Megatins for my best friend back in Christmas of 2019, and he absolutely loved it. He loves the card. He's like, dude, Scarlet's a beast, and I would have gotten a better copy, if a more expensive copy, if they had better copies out there, you know. And the reason this specific card is the reason why I refuse to play Red Dragon Archfiend, because if I did, then I would have to play a common Ultra Scarlight, or maybe even buy another Ghost Rare, a Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend, and I don't want that, because this is the only Ghost Rare Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend that I want to have in my entire collection. It's my ace, my burning soul. Waganu Tamashi, Reto Demon's Dragon, Scarlet. So, and he takes the gold medal. So that's it for the list, you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry for making this video so long. When I have time to edit this, I will definitely try to put timestamps on this so I can look at who, so that you can try to find which one's your favorite. Try to find a specific card in there, and if and I really hope you guys enjoy this video. Please tell me down in the link below not only who your favorite Ghost Rare from this video was. You don't know. It was actually the first playmat I actually bought. So, but also tell me what your favorite card is. Like it can just be a card in general, or it can be a very specific card. You know, I also have this beautiful Crystal Beast Emerald Tortoise signed by his voice actor Wayne Grayson. You know, it says, Jason, I think I need a new shell. You know, it can be a very specific card. And don't worry, I got a red eye signed by Wayne Grayson as well. Just tell me what your favorite card is and why. I'd love to hear about it down in the comment section below. If you do, if you do, and I see your comment, I'll drop a heart next to it. So until next time, you guys, Hooligan the Grim is signing out.